What's going on, everybody? This is Sean of Raw Select Music. I am back with another recent record pickups video. I've actually had these records for quite some time. I just haven't gotten around to doing another video like these. But as I've pretty much got nothing on the docket right now in terms of albums and records that I want to talk about, I figured now would be just as good a time as any to talk about some of the records that I picked up and some gems that I think are definitely worth checking out. So with that being said, yeah, let's get into these guys. So first off, I want to talk about my two 7-inch pickups. We've got two records from Groove Merchant, aka Love and Hate, and there are 4 artists across these two 7 inches, but I've picked up some Love and Hate / Groove Merchant records in the past and was looking for some music to fill out a jet set order, and I came across what seemed like 2 of the finer records from this label, and since they were so cheap, it decided to add them to my collection. It seemed to run the gamut of a whole different variety of types of soul and funk music, be it rare groove, jazz, library, Latin, and even a little bit of Afro funk. So seeing as how there are 4 different songs across these two 7 inches, I'm just gonna play them and let you hear them for yourselves. So let's start off with Pinky right here. All 4 tracks, something just a little bit weird and a little bit off kilter, but definitely the sort of stuff that's right up my alley. And yeah, I'm really happy to have added these guys to my collection. All right, next up we have a record that I think got lost in a previous recent record pickups video, so I'm going to talk about it here anyways. And this is Earl Jeffers' Dark Horse Family Presents a Library Excursion. And from what I can tell from this record, it's mostly instrumental hip-hop with an emphasis towards like early 1960s, 1970s electronic music as a sample source. And the results are really, really cool. Quite honestly, I kind of wish that Dark Horse Family's previous record sounded as good as this. And the track I wanted to highlight on here is Fuel Injection, because there's just a certain texture to the synth sound on here that I am quite a fan of. Super cool stuff. It was really, really cheap. I think I ended up picking it up for about 12 bucks or so, or roughly about 1,300 yen. And I'm definitely glad to have added it to the collection, because there's definitely some stuff on here that I know that I'd like to be able to play out in DJ sets or live streams. So if you run across this guy, definitely pick this guy up. Alright, next up we have my first Better Listen record in a while. We got Soon's Elevator Connoisseur. I picked this up, 1, because I'm a big fan of Better Listen, and 2, this was a store demonstration copy, so it was marked down. The overall condition of the record was absolutely perfect, so I figured why the hell not? I should pick this guy up. And while usually when I think of Better Listen records, I tend to think of them having a little bit more of a disco bent to their house sound, there's one track on here that really stands out to me, and I think it's Direct Number, and I really, really like the vibe on it, and it's kind of hard to explain, so I'm just going to play a little bit for you right now. I actually dropped this song in a recent live stream that I did, and while I was kind of going for a bit of a disco theme to the selections that I was putting on, this one I dropped out of the blue, and it took my live stream in a completely different direction that I wasn't expecting, because I had the preconceived notion that this was much more of a disco record, and there's definitely some surprises on here. Soon, once again, is one of my favorite house producers of the moment, and he didn't disappoint with this. Definitely worth checking out. Next up, we have Money Sex Records #1, Glenn Astro and Max GRAEF. Man, I was super happy to get my hands on this. It's very, very similar to their Ninja Tune Yardwork Simulator record, but I feel like there's a little bit more of a bump to this. So the track I really wanted to share with you is this guy right here, Colombian Screwdriver. So let's give that guy a listen. Hey, it fell over again. Lots of little intricate random noises that feel both random and planned out at the same time, and it's those sort of qualities that have always made me a fan of both Glenn Astro and Max GRAEF's productions. Pretty much anything on this label I'm attracted to. I think a large part of it has to do with just their overall aesthetic and graphic design, and if you're a fan of anything eccentric and off-kilter when it comes to dance music, you guys can never go wrong with anything Money Sex Records. Alright, so next up, I wanted to share the 2 library records, or library-esque records that I picked up. Starting off with the Peddlers London Philharmonic Orchestra Suite London. I had picked this up because I knew there was a sample on this record that Wagon Christ had used, aka Luke Vibert, and that Mr. Scruff had used a song from this album in his absolute landmark DJ mix, Keeping It Solid Steel. So when I saw that a reissue for this had popped up on Jet Set, I knew I needed to get a copy of this, because there's one track on here that I really like. I believe it's This Strange Affair, that is exactly the sort of stuff that I look for with library music. It's super funky, but it has these really cool cinematic vibes to them as well. There's some really, really cool horns and really cool strings and arrangements on this, and it's prominent throughout this entire record. Chance to quite sit down and listen to this record all the way through yet, but my general impressions of it are really, really cool. Like I said, really cool arrangements. It is pretty funky. I'm really happy to have added this to my collection. I really, really dig the sleekness of this reissue. And yeah, this is just one of those records that I would recommend anyone who's looking for funky music with a little bit of a twist. Definitely check this guy out. Alright, next up, this record I am not going to even pretend to know how to pronounce, but it is a reissue from Sonar Music Editions. It's some Italian library music, and just like the majority of European Italian library music that I try to pick up, super funky, little psyche, and just really, really cool. The track I want to play from here is Sigma Pop, because it's exactly the kind of stuff that I'm looking for when I buy a library record. Just all really, really, really cool stuff. And even some of the non-funky tracks on here I found myself really, really liking. There's one towards the end of the album, which is actually just a really solid piece of jazz. The arrangements are really cool, lots of horns, little bits of psych mixed in with the more rock and funk elements to it, and the more jazz elements to it. And yeah, just a overall really, really cool record. Definitely pick up the reissue, because there's probably no way in hell you're gonna find an original of it, but if you do, probably going to cost you quite a pretty penny. Alright, now, these last 4 records I really wanted to share with everyone. However, I ran into a little bit of an issue. During a recent live stream that I did over on this channel, I discovered that, for whatever reason, Ninja Tune does not like you playing any of these old DJ Food records. For whatever reason, despite the fact that I'd owned DJ Food CDs years and years ago, I found myself becoming increasingly more nostalgic for this old Ninja Tune down-tempo, trip-hop, instrumental hip-hop sound, and started looking around on Disc Union to see if I could find them, and sure enough, they actually had a pretty decent part of DJ Food's back catalog, and on top of that, it was all really, really cheap. I think between all 4 of these records, Refried Food, Jazz Breaks Volume 2, Jazz Breaks Volume 4, and A Recipe for Disaster, all 4 of these records couldn't have totaled to more than about 30 bucks or 3,000 yen. So I figured, what the hell, I'll add them to my collection. And then, wanting to share them in a live stream recently, it was the DJ Food track that actually temporarily blocked the live stream. So unfortunately, I can't even share these with you. I probably could by showing you just a tiny little snippet of it, but rather than even going through the headache of having to shoot video for it, record audio for it, I'm just gonna do what I always do and tell you to head over to my WordPress or Steam It blogs, and there you can check out audio clips for these records. But if you're unfamiliar with a lot of these guys, highly recommend. If you were one of those people that was disappointed that DJ Shadow never released another introducing style record, this is your answer right here. I feel like, based on the time frame in which Ninja Tune / DJ Food / Cold Cut were coming up at the same time, these guys kind of had parallel thinking. Funky breaks, chilled out atmosphere, just really, really cool records, and highly recommend that you check them out. Unfortunately, I can't play them for you in this video, so you're just gonna have to check out the link over on my blogs. But with that being said, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thanks as always for watching. If you want to check out any of the records that I talked about in this video, please head over to my WordPress or Steam It blogs, because that's where I'll be posting music links to any of the records that I talk about in these videos. If you've listened to any of these records for yourself, let me know what you thought about them down in the comments, and as always, please head over to my Mixcloud where you can check out Raw Select Radio, and definitely be on the lookout for more live streams. I've been doing them over on my personal Facebook page, as well as sharing them to my Raw Select Music Facebook page, so you can check it out over there. I am starting to live stream occasionally on my YouTube channel, so be on the lookout. I need to decide on a schedule for that, but as of right now, it's usually Friday evenings in Japan. So if you live in North America, that's going to be your Thursday morning. On top of that, definitely be on the lookout. I am also trying to figure out a way that I can also get in some Instagram-only live streams, so you can check me out over there as well. Instagram's not always the best platform to live stream on, because their copyright restrictions are pretty strict. But at any rate, you can definitely check out some more live streams either on this channel, over on my Facebook, and over on Instagram. Links for everything, as always, down in the description. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks, as always, for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. So until then, peace out!